Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and joining me somebody very, very special. Mr. Raghav Gupta joins in. He's the MD at Coursera. Welcome, sir, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion on Business Today TV. Well, of course, a whole lot of discussion happening at the Business Summit here and on Business Today TV is how does one really ensure that one has all the skills to succeed in an era where technology is disrupting perhaps like never before. We are hearing the buzzwords like AI and ChatGPT. There's this whole fear about how they could perhaps take away our jobs. But then, what are you looking at this current point in time in terms of what skills are absolutely essential to ensure that you are constantly updated and you do not let technology win this race here?
Yeah, these are great questions. I think there are maybe three, four things that we are seeing standing out a little bit. Firstly, and all of us are experiencing this in business, right? Technology is the business, right? Technology is no longer a department, but technology is the core of the business. And this is not true only for IT companies, this is not true only for startups. It's true for telcos, it is true for banks, it is true for manufacturing companies. Telcos are saying we are tech cos now, right? So how do business schools think about not only teaching management, but bringing technology into what they're teaching is important for managers. Second, and we say this informally at Coursera, skills pay the bills,
Yeah.
right? So, along with a great quality degree, along with the knowledge that you're gaining, are you also learning skills? And how are you actively learning those skills? How are you measuring those skills? How are you demonstrating those skills? I think we're seeing this as being very relevant for business school education. Thirdly, we are seeing industry as an educator is becoming a very important trend. On the Coursera platform, there are 120 million people globally, 20 million of them are in India, and they're all wanting to learn from industry. They want to learn from Google how to do search engine optimization. They want to learn from Meta, Facebook how to do digital marketing. So, along with learning from faculty in a top quality B school, are you also able to learn from industry because industry as an educator is becoming important. And then lastly, in an age of generative AI and ChatGPT, how do we start thinking about the skills that new managers of the future will need, as business changes with generative AI, as jobs change with generative AI. And all of us know that generative AI is not a form of technology that is impacting low skill jobs, but it is impacting high skill jobs, right? Content, customer operations, so many jobs will get impacted. How do business schools teach that? And these are some of the questions I think need to be answered.
Absolutely. Another thing, Mr. Gupta, that I wanted to understand is that, which are the most important skills that you think today are needed to be one of the most employable, in the country today? And how does one really, at various stages of our professional career, ensure that we are on top of our games? Which are the kind of skills that one should look at? We did have Sam Altman come in India. He talked about meta skills, perhaps them helping you, perhaps overpower AI at this point in time. How would you really look at the most important skills needed today?
I think the most fundamental skill is the ability to self-learn. In an area in an era where so much is changing so quickly, that is a very fundamental skill. I think the other broader meta skills or human skills which are becoming more important are problem solving, leadership, teamwork, comfort with ambiguity. These are going to become even more important. COVID happened, digitalization happened, now generative AI has come in. For managers, data is super important, right? In my everyday job, I'm looking at data all the time. So, how are you able to look at data and make decisions based on data? I'm not a data scientist, but I'm using data all the time. I'm thinking about data all the time. So, just the basics of data analytics is important. And then finally, the ability to say, look, how do I apply technology in my business processes so that I can drive productivity in my business, depending on what your role might be. But there are technology related skills that one needs to build up as well.
Very, very important points that are being made by you. There was once upon a time that one would really imagine that if you have the top B school degree in India, you could land the best job that possibly is there of a CXO, and you could aim for that. But today, like you pointed out, several other things are also needed. Skills from the industry is what you would need to constantly build that up. So, in today's day and age, how should one, a youngster straight out of college looking to build up that professional skill for themselves, really approach that education space?
So, like I said, the ability to self-learn is important. I do think if you get into a top B school, you will still get a great job, which is still very relevant today. But along with being in a great business school, saying, look, if technology is a skill that you need to have as a manager, and if your business school is not teaching that, that's where a platform like Coursera can come in and say, look, here's a skill that you might be able to learn, right? If you need to be able to use data analytics, you can come to a platform like Coursera and learn some of those skills. Secondly, like I said, industry as an educator is important. And so to get a credential where you learn the knowledge but also get a credential, right? So you have an MBA from an IIM, but also a micro credential from Google or Apple or Facebook or whatever is important as well. And all of this is available on your phone today, right? So there is absolutely no problem with accessibility. You can do that, and I think that's really what's needed.
Absolutely. Wonderful speaking to you, sir, and getting all those insights for all our viewers. Many thanks.
Thank you so much.